Welcome back to Your Darts, where we learn to do dart checkouts in our head. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is part 2, showing you why 2 dart checkouts are everything when you're trying to learn how to check out. And I want to show you how easy they are to learn. We're going to be covering first dart indicators today. Let's do it. So I'm just going to show you again why 2 dart finishes are so important. I did this in the first video. I'm going to choose a different number now. Okay, so say if we had 167, okay, big number. But if you break it down like I've been teaching, so we're going to throw a treble 20, okay, you would put 40 onto the last 2 digits. So 40 onto 67 reveals a 2 dart finish of 107. Now, of course, it's a 3-digit number, but it's a 2 dart finish. That's why you've got to learn your 2 dart finishes. And you've got 2 darts to take out 107, and that's treble 19, because it's 57 for bullseye, okay. But if you don't see this as 167, see it as treble 20 leaving 107. And once you start looking at these big 3-digit numbers like that, and you know your 2 dart finishes, then the rest is, it's easier to certainly get your head around how to check out. So onto these essential 2 dart finishes. Last time we covered the 5 numbers in the red, the harder ones to learn. I hope you got on well with that. Today we're going to be covering some of these first dart indicators, FDI, first dart indicators. And just to clarify, if you haven't seen my videos, what this means, the number itself gives you an indication what your first dart, remember these are your 2 dart finishes, okay? So what your first of 2 darts is going to be. So for instance, 64 is treble 14, so it's the number on the right what gives you the indication. 67 is treble 17, 68 is treble 18. Okay, you get the idea. Now we're going to be covering the numbers in the 60 range today, and I'm going to be showing you how I go ahead and learn these 60 numbers. Let's get to it. So on to the first dart indicators between 61 and 69. Let's get to that. So the number itself gives you the indication, hence the name, and it's the first one on the right. So it's 61 is treble 11, okay, and the finish is treble 11 double 14, and the numbers add up to 25. So I know people do that between these numbers all the way from 61 to 69. The first dart and the second dart, they both add up to 25, but I always try to use a little picture, what I call a link, and the link is that they're right next to each other. Treble 11 double 14, okay, so that's 61. And just a little bit of practice, that really helped me a lot, just to see a picture rather than to have to add up any more than I need to. Okay, the next number, 62, is treble 12. Okay, 62 treble 12, and the finish is treble 12 double 13. Now I know it's a rubbish double, but that's the way we go for this, because if we hit the big 12, this is where what I call practicing for the miss, or the miss rule. We will do that more times than we hit the treble, of course. It leaves 50, and this is why we go this way with these numbers. From 61 to 69, it always leaves 50 if you hit the big number. I'll remind you of that as we get going. Okay, the way I remember it is that it runs up in numbers 12 and 13, and they're almost across from each other, but that's how I remembered it. Treble 12 double 13. Okay, so 62. Okay, next number, 63 is treble 13. I'm sure you're getting the idea now. Treble 13, and the finish is double 12. So this is just the opposite of the last number. 62 was treble 12 double 13. This is treble 13 double 12. Okay, and I remember it because of that, because it's the opposite, and also because it's similar to 62, it's just reversed, and also that it runs down in numbers. 13 12. Sorry. 63. Okay, so far pretty easy. Next number, 64, treble 14. Okay, so treble 14, and the finish is double 11. And look, they're right next to each other. In fact, it's the reverse of what 61 was, treble 11 double 14. This is treble 14 double 11. 64. A little bit of practice and you get it, trust me. 65, treble 15, okay, 4 double 10, and you guessed it, they're right next to each other. That's how I remember it. Okay, hitting the big 15 would leave bullseye. Next number, 66. Now this was, so it's treble 16 obviously it's a first start indicator. 499. Now this was the first time I struggled. I couldn't work it out because I wasn't using any numbers here to help me. I didn't realize they added up to 25, so that is a good little hack if that helps anyone. I'm sure it does. But this is the first time I had to get creative, and I just kept thinking, how can I remember that it's 99 after treble 16 instantly? And I just saw a 3 next to the 6, like hanging off the 6. I know it sounds silly, but it really cemented in my brain, and I didn't one time I looked at it and never forgot it. So it's 9, so 3 and the 6 is 9, so I know it was treble 16 double 9, and that's all I needed to make that picture work for me. Okay, but that's 66. Well, that was the first harder one I found to learn, but I'm sure you can get it. The next one, 67, so treble 17. So treble 17 for double 8. Now again, this is a little hard, but I saw it as 7 and 8, and that's all I needed. Treble 17 double 8. And again, they do add up to 25, so you can go that route if you want, but I like a little picture if possible, and that's all I needed for that one. Next number, 68. So 68 is treble 18. It's the first indicator, obviously. Treble 18 and for double 7. And how I remembered this, it's if you see this as a wheel and these are spokes, it's just on the same spoke. That's not the same spoke, but it's on the same spoke. Treble 18 for double 7. Yeah, and double 7 is not brilliant, but again, we'll probably hit the big 18. Chances are, we'll hit the big 18 and it leaves you 50, so you'll go for bullseye, or you'll set your 50 up if you want to do that. But this is why we go this way, okay? So it always leaves 50. And the final number is 69, treble 19. Now again, and the finish is double 6. This was the next one I found a little tough to learn, and I thought, how am I going to remember treble 19 double 6 instantly? And I just started to see this whole thing as a clock face, okay, and as this is quarter past the hour. And as soon as I did that, and again, it might sound silly to some people watching this, and if you're not struggling, great, you don't need any help, but if you need some help, that will help. It helped me, I'm sure it'll help someone out there. So 69, we know the first start's treble 19, and it's just quarter past the hour, double 6. Okay, so we go this route here. These numbers, the number itself gives you the indication for the first start, and then we go for the double. We assume may miss the treble on, and we hit the big number. We go this way because it always leaves a shot out, a bullseye. So that's 2 dart finishes for number 61 all the way to 69. Let's see how we get on with that. Okay, so that was covering first dart indicators, an introduction for a few people watching this, and if you see my other videos, you might know what I'm talking about. But they really do help when they are first dart indicators, because you need all the help you can get in this hard game. Coming next time, we're covering more of these 2 dart indicators in part 3. Thanks so much for watching. Take care for now.